got to do a little follow-up on Dennis. Dennis was a part of our fellowship for many, many years. Many years. Known him and his wife for 40 years now. Though not in constant contact, but we've known them for 40 plus years now. They go to a different fellowship, we go to a different fellowship, etc. But in all that time, I never realized that Dennis himself had never received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I never guessed it, never even thought to ask. But what happened one night over at his church, that there was a revival of visiting evangelists that came, and Dion Hockey. Dion came, and I'll try to condense this. Dion, he was one of Rodney Brown's proteges, and as such, Rodney Brown, back, for some of you who might remember this, back around the turn of the century, was a part of the laughter movement. And allow me to explain that before somebody freaks out. I saw Rodney Brown one evening on TV, and the guy is sober as a judge, preaching a sermon, and they were videoing this. And this apparently was not the first time it happened. In fact, this, I believe, is why they were videoing it, to prove what was happening. Rodney's giving a sermon that it grounded in the Word. And next thing you know, you see this three-piece suit guy stand up out of nowhere and just bust out laughing like somebody just hit him up with nitrous oxide. And then over here, then you have another a woman, prestigious woman, same thing. And next thing you know, they're just in the floor laughing their heads off. And Rodney looked at the camera and he says, "Do you think I'm doing this? Do you really think I want this to happen in my service?" He said, "I'm not doing this. This is the Lord." He said, "This is what happened on the day of Pentecost. These people are actually, God's dealing with them. That's what's happening. That's what happened when they rolled out in the street, when all those people that were there in Jerusalem that day." Was it Jerusalem? I think it was, but anyway. The upper room, we'll just leave it at that. He said that all these people, these dialects, heard them, and then some of them said, "Oh, look at that, they're drunks. It's not even the third hour of the day, and it was 9 in the morning." And Peter said, "They're not drunk as you suppose." No, sir. No. This is what the prophet Joel prophesied, that in that day I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and daughters are prophesying. Men servants, your maid servants will too. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will have visions. That's what was happening. They weren't drunk. They were filled with the Holy Spirit. Okay? So that was what the laughter movement was actually about. People getting filled with the Holy Spirit in that particular way, to say that's the way the Lord used to minister to them. Now, so here comes Dion. He was one of, I suppose you could call him an associate pastor of Rodney. He's on tour. God called him to, though he was is from South Africa, God called him to the mission field here in the United States. And so Dion makes a circuit, and he did for several years. But he comes to Dennis's church one night, and had been there for, this was, I believe, the 4th or 5th night. We were invited to come meet Rodney, no, not Rodney, but Dion, and a very dear friend of ours. And we thought, okay, we'll do that. So the wife, children, and I, and our friend all got together, and we went and sat and listened to Dion that particular night. Well, here's Dennis. Next thing we know, Dion points at us and we're getting, and Dennis just comes out unglued, laughing. It was funny. We were not laughing at him; we were laughing with him. And of course, me, I have to have, at that at that time in my walk, I need proof everything is right or it's wrong, And then Dion looks at me and he does the same things that Lord get him. And I did all I could. I mean, literally all I could. I fought, I would say, a good 30 minutes to keep from busting out laughing and letting go myself. And I finally admitted to the Lord. I said, I understand, Lord. I know now. This is you. This is you doing this. I learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson. Well, the Lord got Dennis 3 times. And every time Dennis, the last time, he started crawling on all fours to get back to his seat and trying to be all dignified and kind of sneak up there and sit down, worm his way back into the seat and hopefully nobody would notice. Yeah, right. And then the Lord got him again. And then Dennis finally, he stands up and understand this is a crowd of about 1,600 people. He said, now I know what you people have been baptized in the Holy Spirit have been through. And all that time I thought that Dennis had already received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Just saying.